Hey, welcome back, Dama Boots. We are doing two things today. I'm going to try and combine them both. We'll see how well it works. Probably it won't, but we'll try anyway. So today is, of course, our observance of Asalha puja, Dharma Day. Typically, this would involve lots and lots of candles. This would involve me reading, or probably all of the congregation reading the Buddha's first sermon, the start of the Dharma, the so-called first turning of the wheel. But I thought today might be a good example or a good chance, because when we get to read the Dharma and we get to practice the Dharma, when we get to practice the teaching, we get to practice what the Buddha taught, aka things like meditation, right? We get to essentially follow the precepts. And in this case, we get to follow the dhyana paramita, aka the perfection of meditation. So, I thought I would give us a few readings from all the different parts of the Buddha's teachings, and then I would open it up for you guys to practice. Right? So this is going to be a very quick one as compared with all of my recent ones, which, side note, please post a comment as to whether or not you want me to stay long or whether I should just shut up and go short from now on. Because if I'm going to start rambling, I'm going to start rambling, and there's just not a thing I can do about it outside of editing the video to kind of try and pretend like I'm not quite as long-winded as I sometimes get. Also, I just want to know whether or not you guys want longer sermons, or whether, something a little bit shorter, more succinct, more to the point would be more meaningful. So now that said, we're going to work our way directly into the various parts of the Dharma, and I'm going to be starting with the Theravada side of the house, moving to the Mahayana side of the house, so starting with the Dhammapada, working my way through the Diamond Sutra, and then working my way a little bit further afield into the Adamantine Pinnacle Sutra of the Vajrayana side of the house. So, what we are looking at here, starting with the Dhammapada, we're reading 11 and 12 and 19 and 20, depending on how you want to translate them. This one, I believe, is the Buddha Akita version. Right. So what we have here is those who mistake the real for the false, the unessential to be essential, and the essential to be unessential, dwelling in wrong thoughts, never arrive at the essential. Those who know the essential to be essential, and the unessential to be unessential, dwelling in right thoughts, do arrive at the essential. And here, essential is not in terms of like basic needs, or like the essential truth in the common sense of the word. This is more, does it have that essence? Is it such, right? The truth in this case is the suchness, the tathata, right? Tathata, clearly being brought out, right? This is the Buddha saying, when you mistake the unreal to be real and the real to be unreal, dwelling in wrong thoughts, you're never going to get to the essential. You're never going to get to what is real, right? Okay, moving right along. Much though he recites the sacred text, but acts not accordingly, that heedless man is like a cowherd, not a coward, a cowherd, who only counts the cows of others. He does not partake of the blessings of the holy life. Little though he recites the sacred text, but puts the teaching into practice, forsaking lust, hatred, and delusion, the three poisons. With true wisdom and emancipated mind, clinging to nothing of this or any other world, he indeed partakes of the blessings of a holy life. So those are the sections of the Dhammapada that I wanted to start off with, right? Those kind of lay the groundwork for us getting to, okay, well, the Dharma says we should be doing. we'll get into some further passages on that. So from the Diamond Sutra, I believe this is section 12, or chapter 12, depending on how you want to translate it. Furthermore, Subhuti, if any person in any place were to teach even 4 lines of this sutra, the place where they taught it would become sacred ground and would be revered by all kinds of beings. How much more sacred would the place become if that person then studied and observed the whole sutra? Subhuti, you should know that any person who does that would surely attain something rare and profound. Wherever the sutra is honored and revered, there is a sacred site enshrining the presence of the Buddha or one of the Buddha's most venerable disciples. That speaks for itself. I'm not even going to add comment to that. It says everything right there. And now the Adamantine Pinnacle Sutra. At that time, all the Tathagatas filled this Buddha world just like sesame seeds packed close together in a sesame pod. Then all the Tathagatas gathered as if in a cloud and betook themselves to where the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva Sarvartha Siddhi, aka Siddhartha, Sarva Siddhartha, right, was seated at the place of enlightenment. Manifesting the body of enjoyment, they spoke all together as follows. Good sir, how will you, who endure ascetic practices without knowing the truth of all the Tathagatas, realize unsurpassed perfect enlightenment? Thereupon the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva Sarvartha Siddhi, having been aroused by all the Tathagatas, arose from the Aspanaka Samadhi, that is the no mind, no thought meditation that is so common in much of the Mahayana side of the house, made obeisance to all the Tathagatas and said, World-honored Tathagatas, please instruct me. How should I practice? What is the truth? When he had finished speaking thus, all the Tathagatas addressed the Bodhisattva in unison, saying, Good sir, abiding in the samadhi of observing one's mind, you should chant as many times as you please with the following mantra, which is effective of its own nature. And that mantra is Om Chitta Prativedam Karami, or Om I penetrate the mind, is what that means. Then the Bodhisattva said to all the Tathagatas, World-honored Tathagatas, I have understood it completely. I see my heart to be like a lunar disk in shape. All the Tathagatas addressed him together, saying, Good sir, the mind is by nature radiant. It is just as when you make extensive efforts, the result obtained is in proportion to the action. Or when you dye a white garment, it changes color according to the dye. Then, in order to increase his knowledge of the mind radiant by nature, all the Tathagatas again commanded the Bodhisattva, saying, Om Bodhicitam Utpadayami. Om, I generate the mind of enlightenment. I'm going to cut it off there. What we have here, we started out, the Dharma says we need to do. Dharma doesn't say you just pretend, you just don't do anything with it. No, rather the opposite. You're supposed to do stuff with it. You're supposed to meditate on it. You're supposed to reflect on it. You're supposed to take the Dharma and make it something living. Make it something that you practice. Make it a thing that does, right? This is how you practice the Dharma. This is how you honor the Dharma. By making it something that you live. Not just like words on a page somewhere. This is stuff that you need to live, right? The results of that, as we saw in the Diamond Sutra, are that where you do that becomes holy ground. And you, by doing that, become a holy person. By practicing the Dharma, by teaching the Dharma, right? By reading the Dharma, by studying the Dharma, you become a holy person. But only if you then put it into practice. Right? And that's what we get out of the Adamantine Pinnacle Sutra, right? What was he doing? He was doing meditation, and all the other Buddhas from the past and the present, and all throughout all time, they were coming up and saying, practice, do this, right? Follow the Dharma, meditate, practice, develop the mind of enlightenment. right? Really get in there through your meditation and penetrate the mind, right? So the Dharma here, again, is not something that it's just words on a page. The Dharma is something you live. It's something you do, right? Dharma may as well be a verb at this point. Yeah, I know it's a noun. It's a thing. But it may as well be a verb, because Dharma is not something that, like the Buddha is getting at here. The Dharma is not something that just sits on a page, right? It's not something that if you just recite the text but don't act accordingly, you're going to get anywhere. You're not. You have an obligation as a Buddhist to practice the Dharma, to live the Dharma, to really do that. And how do you do that? Well, it's obvious, right? This is the one thing that humans can do, that humans both can do and have no obstacles really to doing, unlike in other realms. This is the one thing that humans can do: meditation, right? Because up in the heavenly realms, nobody needs to practice. Everything is awesome, right? Everything is cool when we're part of that team, to borrow from the Lego movie. But the simple fact of the matter is, because everything is awesome, you don't need to practice. You don't need to meditate when you're there, because everything is great, right? Here in the human realm, we see that not everything is great, and that even in those heavenly realms, there's some suffering going on. They don't see it, obviously, and eventually when they do start to see it, that's when they are no longer in the heavenly realms. But we have that capacity. The animal realm really doesn't, right? You're not going to tell me that mongoose X in Ecuador, I don't know, I'm totally making that up, is going to sit there and meditate. You're not going to tell me that snake Y or fish Z in the Atlantic Ocean is going to meditate. It doesn't happen. That's not how that works, right? Fish don't meditate. They don't have the capacity to do so. We do. Gods don't meditate. Angels and devas and asuras, they don't meditate. We do. And that's how we make the Dharma a living thing. That's how we practice the Dharma. That is how we live the Dharma, through meditation and through the practices that the Buddha has put out, right? We have that capability. In this rare human lifetime, we have that ability. We have that chance. We need to make use of it. So here, I'm going to stop. Your homework for next week is twofold. One, again, let me know if you want me to do shorter or longer. And two, pick a passage of meditation every day. Pick a passage from the Dharma every day. Doesn't matter which part of the Dharma you're coming from, right? Find something in the Dharma every day this week and meditate on that passage. Meditate on what it means and how you can practice it, because that's the key here, right? The key that we have the ability to do that no other realm does is we have the ability to meditate on things. We have the ability to reflect and say, okay, there is an unsatisfactory quality about this world. I'm going to make it better. I'll leave it with that. Download it.